20 years ago, they managed a Hollywood video store where they talked movies, music, TV, and pop culture 24/7. Now, in the vein of great reunions like Color Me Bad, Caddyshack 2, and the Two Coreys, they re-emerge to talk the culture of pop. Here are your hosts, Brett, Fred, and James.
Hey everybody, it's me and Fred today.
Yeah.
James might be calling in, we hope.
Minus the James, yes, but yeah, he should be calling in sometime. He said he's not going to be able to make it into town, which is just fine.
That's cool. He's a busy man.
Carry on. We've got things to talk about.
So we are on a live chat right now. So please, if you're watching this, chat with us, ask us questions, whatever. We're doing a live YouTube stream.
Make this shit interactive.
Yes, exactly. So anybody who can see us right now, please be a dear, kind friend and show us some love. Today, the way I wanted to start off, if you want to pop that thing up, Fred. I don't know how you do it. Fred's pretty good here with this shit.
C button and then do this shit. And now, see, the reason why I wanted to check and see if we were actually streaming, is this live? Are we doing it? Are you watching us live?
I'm watching us. The thing hasn't popped up yet, though, so
well, it should.
we'll give it a chance. Everything's behind. We're sorry about that. We're sorry about the sound delay. We need somebody here to fix that. So if you know anybody, please come fix it.
That's probably just a streaming issue. I doubt we can actually fix that.
Yeah. So if you see our mouths going off kilter and all that weird kind of stuff, not paying attention. See, yeah, you got it up now.
There we go.
All right.
And there we go.
Cool. So,
all right, so we've got it on Rambo Last Blood right now, the Rotten Tomatoes page.
Yes, and the reason I wanted to point this out is because I think there's something rotten going on at Rotten Tomatoes. First of all, God, I gotta quit smoking. First of all, my question is, when something is certified Rotten Tomatoes or certified tomato, fresh tomato, whatever, is that coming from the critic score or is that coming from the audience score?
What do you mean?
Pop up another tab and show me Endgame. Show me anything that would have been certified Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't even think of that.
Okay.
So we're going to do this kind of on the side here.
Well, you know what? I can just do a search here.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Back to this page if I can get to the keyboard.
But the interesting thing to point out right now is that the tomato meter says 31% for critics and 84% for audience score for Rambo.
There have been 4 movies titled Endgame since 5 movies.
I had no clue about that.
Since 1983.
But that's the only one that probably counts.
Well, this is the only one anybody thinks of.
All right, yes. So that's been proven.
Yeah,
so
94
critics
tomato meter and audience score of 91.
All right. So I'm going to point out right now, I'm going to tell you that fucking Rotten Tomatoes is a bunch of garbage and a bunch of bullshit. It really bothers me that you're not paying more attention to the audience score. The critics who, obviously, as Fred pointed out, are being paid to do this. Some of them
are just failed writers that have nothing more talented within them than nitpicking the fuck out of things.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they're doing what they're doing, because they couldn't make it as an official writer in some other capacity. Most critics, not all critics. I'll trust a Gene Shalit. I'll trust...
I only ever trusted Roger Ebert and Siskel were the only two I ever trusted. Because they loved movies.
And there's a few critics on YouTube that I'll listen to, like I've mentioned before, Chris Stuckman. I mean, I've only ever disagreed with him one time, and it was, again, so long ago that I don't remember what the movie was.
Yeah.
I guarantee it was one of the Star Wars movies, actually. Okay. I think. I don't know.
I know exactly who you're talking about now, by the way. I've checked him out. He's really good. I like him.
He is. I like him. And he's from here in Ohio, too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Shout out to Chris Stuckman. He's somewhere in the middle of the state, I think.
Yeah. Go back to Rambo real quick, though.
Yep.
So we got 94% certified tomato. So the only way you become certified tomato is because of the critics. So films like Rambo are not going to be certified Rotten Tomatoes.
No.
Because nobody's going to see them that they're giving that score that appreciates Rambo for what it is.
But the audience is liking it. 84%.
The audience loves it because it's fucking Rambo and because it's a good movie and people still care about this shit. Now I see a lot of the bad things are, it deals with Mexican drug lords. So people are pissed because of the whole thing that, our president said about, you know, Mexicans and blah, 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 and so on.
Mexican drug lords do exist, though.
Yeah, they do.
We
And
can't
didn't he kill a bunch of white people in the first one anyway? I mean, he's already got his white people count.
Not including Mexican drug lords in our movies just because we might offend somebody.
Yeah, exactly. It's happening.
Doesn't delete them from existence.
This is based on a true story. I mean, it's
the guy that it's based on is a complete fucking gun nut.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you lean more towards the right, but this guy's like he's falling off the right side.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But one of the things I thought was funny was one of the reviewers said something about, well, he's got all these tunnels set up and so he can get from place to place and do this and do that. Why would he set all this up? And I'm thinking to myself, because it's fucking Rambo.
Sounds more like Jason Voorhees from the remake.
I never saw that one.
You didn't see that?
No, I didn't. I own it, but I haven't seen it.
See Jared Padalecki's in it, and I keep wanting Dean Winchester to show up so they can just take this guy out once and for all. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I hated the Friday the 13th, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake so much that I hated. Yeah, I hated it so badly.
I have a couple of fundamental problems with that. In the original, Freddy Krueger was a child murderer. It made sense why the parents wanted to go burn him alive.
Yep.
In this one, he is a child molester.
Yes.
So it still also makes sense that the parents want to go burn him alive.
Yeah.
But where'd the glove come from?
Yeah.
Where'd the fucking glove the whole purpose, the whole thing with the glove in the original movies was that's what he used to murder the children that he was murdering.
Yeah.
Was this just some mean thing that he thought up in his incorporeal state after he was killed?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I didn't get any of it.
It was just kind of shoved in there. It's like, oh, and by the way, the glove, so you know who he is.
And I really had high hopes for it. I really did, only because it starred one of my favorite actors from when I was a kid. I mean, if nobody remembers him, Bad News Bears. You remember Bad News Bears?
I remember the Bad News Bears. I don't.
You remember Kelly? His name was Kelly. I can't think of his damn name now, his real name. He was in Watchmen. He played the guy with the mask in Watchmen. Jackie Earl Haley.
Jackie Earl Haley.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I didn't hear you say that. I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah, he's awesome. And I loved him. So I
didn't realize he was in that.
Yeah, he's Freddy, and I was like, I had high hopes for that.
He did a good job with what he was given. He just wasn't given a whole lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because he can be a creepy person when he wants to be. He can be really
very creepy in that movie. He was. Dude. It reminded me a lot of the Evil Dead remake too.
Oh, yeah.
I've talked to a lot of people that absolutely fucking hate that movie, and I don't understand why.
I loved it.
I mean, it wasn't Evil Dead. There was no Ash. It didn't have all of the staples from the original 3 movies that you look for in Evil Dead, or even the stuff from Ash versus Evil Dead that was on Netflix for a while. It doesn't have any of that. Or was that Stars? Those Stars.
Might have been Stars, yeah. Stars. No, it was Stars, yeah. I love that show.
Oh, I love that
God, it's amazing.
It was a perfect continuation of those movies. It was the universe continued on. And the remake of Evil Dead was not that. It was somebody taking the original concept, the basic concept of the original movie, and saying, here's how I would interpret that. And it was genuinely creepy for what it was. You know? It worked.
You're going to have to tell your wife you're going to be a little bit late.
Well, nah, because she's going to come here after she gets off work anyway, so it's fine.
Okay, that's cool. Well, I didn't start recording.
We're live, ladies and gentlemen.
We're live on YouTube. Let's try this again. You get to see our show twice now. All right, so that's up on the screen and everything.
Again, that might be you.
We're going to do this.
You don't have a share button on there?
No, dude, I don't know where it's at. We're still live, but we're still doing this, so hold on. Share, hold on. Share to Facebook. But I need my Facebook feed. Post that one. I know you guys are getting some behind the scenes shit here. All the problems that we fucking go through and that I don't remember shit. So that's up. I just shared it to my Facebook. I don't know who else I can do this share it with. Sorry. Okay, that's still live. We are still going. People are just looking at the YouTube page like, what? There's one person watching, and I don't know if it's me or not, but it's creeping me out.
It's not me.
Yeah, I know it's not you, but I don't.
Because if it was me, I'd be sharing the link.
Can I be showing as myself? Okay, let me try and share it again. I have to share it to our thing, though. Our page. Post to newsfeed. No. Oh, God, I'm so horrible with this.
It's all good.
All right. I'm going to tag people in it. I'm going to tag you. The Culture Pop. Boom.
And then I have to share it as quickly as possible before my phone explodes.
If I can find you. I don't know if you're on my regular. You got to be.
I have to be.
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Fred. Oops. Wrong one. Fred. All right. So we're going to share on those two pages. So we're on the Culture Pop page now. We should be on link to Fred's if you're a Fred fan. You will be on his.
There it is. Oh no, that's the wife texting me. Fuck.
TCOP Studio 9 check-ins. Okay, so post. All right, now I got quite a few people going out too, so we'll see what happens. And we're gonna start this again real quick.
You got a phone charger?
Because I got to fucking record. No, what kind of phone do you have? I don't have one on me.
Oh,
yeah, I have no.
Doesn't matter then.
All right.
I really should have just brought mine. I always take it with me everywhere I go.
All right, let's try this again. For all the people live at home, you're going to hear some shit you heard before, but sorry. Hey. Record.
20 years ago, they managed a Hollywood video store where they talked movies, music, TV, and pop culture 24/7. Now, in the vein of great reunions like Color Me Bad, Caddyshack 2, and the Two Coreys, they re-emerged to talk the culture of pop. Here are your hosts, Brett, Fred, and James.
All right, Culture Pop, everybody. Got
Hey.
Fred here with me.
No Jim today.
Nope, he is a busy man, and it is birthday weekend, so we let him have it off.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, that's what he told me. I thought this was in November, but I was wrong. But anyhow,
Happy birthday.
yes. He might call in, he might not. We'll see, whatever. But we are on streaming on live on YouTube, and we are doing the podcast. So what I wanted to talk about today, for all you YouTube people, sorry, you already heard this. You're going to go through it again.
Yep.
But
All one of you.
yeah. So Rambo
Maybe.
Last Blood. I started off by saying I really honestly think that Rotten Tomatoes is very rotten. If
I don't know. I can't disagree.
if you
I
look,
have no concrete information on the validity of that statement, honestly, but
well,
it seems to make sense because I find myself disagreeing with Rotten Tomatoes a lot.
yeah, yeah. And what I didn't understand was I thought that the tomato meter and the audience score were combined to give a certified fresh, but they're not. We have just now found out by looking up Endgame that certified fresh can only be equipped to something, a movie or something that is done by the audience. See, there's our Avengers Endgame. That's 94%. So that's
certified fresh.
So from how many critics does it say there?
484.
And how many people?
And people, 64,907.
All right, so Endgame's over. It's been done with. So that's about your average type of people. And we know everybody went and saw this movie. That's about the average amount of people that are going to give audience scores because it's just like a restaurant.
That was huge, though.
Yeah.
That one was huge. That's like
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
comparing the Beatles to like a local band, you know?
Yeah. And when you look at the audience score, you got to realize that's a relatively low number for as many people went and saw it. But
That's true.
just like I said, like a restaurant, people complain when they're unsatisfied. They don't give good reviews. So not a ton
know.
of people
I don't know. I
go
used to
on
get
here.
I used to get a few calls where somebody would say, that was the best pizza I ever had.
Well, that's cool.
And I would thank them profusely because you never
Well, yeah,
get
because
that.
you hardly get it. Yeah.
And I would tell them that, too. I'd say, you know what? Do this everywhere you go. If you like the food, call them because
Yeah,
we
exactly.
never get this. It makes the job worthwhile.
Yeah.
I got so few of those, though, that I got at a food service. I did not do it anymore. People are dicks.
Go back to Rambo for a minute. Okay. So as you see in the score with Rambo, it's 31% tomato meter and 84% audience score. I read the reviews for the 31%, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is all, this is Trump shit. This is blah, blah, blah. This is, number one, sorry, I'm going to get controversial, but number one, I never understood, and I still don't understand why it's bad to be proud of America. And I see that's a lot of the stuff that, this is from the Reagan era when everybody was, yay, USA. Well, I'm sorry, but it's 2019. Reagan's gone, and I'm still, yay, USA. I mean, for you not to be proud of your country is ridiculous, and for you to blame Rambo for doing this kind of shit. And the other review that I read, like I said, was how they were perplexed by, he's got all these underground tunnels and he's got these places and he's got all this weaponry and stuff. They're not Rambo fans. It's Rambo. I mean, if Rambo inherits a ranch or however he gets this ranch, What do you think the first thing he's going to do? He's going to make. I mean, people nowadays put cameras outside. What do you think Rambo's going to do?
If
Jesus.
you watch a Batman movie, you expect to see the Batcave. You expect to see a rubber suit.
Exactly.
You hope you're not going to see rubber nipples. But
and you're going to see all kinds of.
You expect that because it's fucking Batman.
I mean, nobody ever said to Batman, well, why did he have that? How did he set that thing up where he hit his chair and then he went down and he became, or how did he go down the poles? It's fucking Batman. I mean, if you don't understand the simplest terms of the movie you're going to see and where it's coming from, it's going to end up not good for you.
Did you expect that it was just going to be an hour and a half to 2 hours of John Rambo sitting at a fucking Denny's talking to his daughter?
Exactly.
I mean,
and it's not even his daughter. I guess it's like a friend's daughter or something.
Even so,
I'm going to see it.
I'd pay to see that.
I'm going to see it. I hear it's brutally gory.
I might write that and send it to Sylvester Stallone. My dinner with Rambo. 2 hours of just
that would actually be awesome. You know? But flip over to Dave Chappelle for a minute. And I know a lot of people are talking about the Dave Chappelle thing. Right, but it's just another reason Rotten Tomatoes sucks.
It's unacceptable to be a comedian now.
Yeah, very because if you're a comedian, people think that that's you, that the things you're saying on stage are your real life, the way you feel. They don't understand it's like an actor. He's playing a role.
It's even more than that. I mean, he's got several. I mean, Bill Burr has said before that he'll go out on stage and just start poking at the crowd to see what makes them laugh.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whatever. And, you shouldn't be getting angry at the comedians.
Yeah.
They're just saying what's making the crowd laugh.
Yes,
if
exactly.
you don't agree with what the comedian is saying, be angry with the crowd for laughing, because if they weren't laughing, he wouldn't be saying it.
Exactly. You're right. And we're going to get to Bill Burr here in a minute, but that's exactly what I'm talking about here. We got a 35% Rotten Tomato for Dave Chappelle. And 99% audience score. 99% audience score.
That goes to show you that the people who are getting the fucking panties in a bunch over this shit equal out to about 1%.
Exactly.
They're just really loud.
Exactly. And I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes anymore at all. Just because of these two incidents and just other stuff.
Do you think they're fucking with the user score too, the viewers?
I don't think they are. I don't think they're fucking with it. I think just the people that go there to critique. You got to realize, I was looking at some of the critiques. Critiques.
Name my first child, Katrique.
Salon. You've heard of Salon, right? That's like one of the worst SJW like news things on. It's the kind of shit that you get sent in your email or something. Salon.com is one that gave it a horrible review and said it was. Yeah. Well, they gave it a horrible review and said it was just, petty, blah, 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 and it was bullshit. And it's all these people that don't get the comedy, don't want to get the comedy.
Well, like I said, don't hate the comedian. Don't hate the joke. Hate that people are laughing at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if people weren't laughing at it, it wouldn't be getting said. That's
the
whole
exactly.
point of a comedy special like this. And Bill Burr went through the same damn thing. He did Paper Tiger. I remember him saying to Joe Rogan, the reason he titled it Paper Tiger is because Joe Rogan's last special had the best title ever, and he couldn't use it because we do live in strange times.
Yeah.
We do live in strange times, and here's your proof.
Yeah.
People want to police laughter.
Yes. I will never understand how some of these people, especially a lot of them being cultured people or pop culture people, because they're obviously interested in movies, these people who give these bad reviews. It's just that they're too biased. That's what I liked about Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel. They were not biased at all. Right. There were movies that they liked. I mean, Roger Ebert always kind of agreed with what I agreed with, or I should say I agreed with him. He liked a lot of weird, strange movies and stuff that most people didn't.
He had to stick up his ass about some of the things that I really loved.
Yeah. But the thing is that they really, truly enjoyed movies. One of the best movies you can watch, it's on Netflix. It's called Get a Life.
That was pre-internet though too. Roger
Siskel
and Ebert was pre-internet.
Oh yeah, I was watching.
So they didn't have all those influences because people get online and they see all the. You have to really, if you're a critic, you really have to avoid the internet.
Yeah.
If you're going to give an unbiased opinion of a movie, because people will pepper what you're saying.
Yeah, I just don't understand how some of these people could literally walk into, or click on Dave Chappelle. He even says in the comedy special, "You clicked on my face." So I mean, I don't understand, man.
What am I clicking on here?
No. I was just saying. No.
You have to
I was just saying I don't understand why people click on this if they're not interested. I know they're trying to be critics. That's great. That's wonderful.
Or here's a thought. If you're listening to the comedy special and you don't like what's being said, turn it off.
Yeah, exactly. Just turn it off. You don't go bitch to everybody about it. Just turn it off.
It's become fashionable to be hatred or to be hate-filled, to be
Cancel
angry
culture.
at something.
It's that cancel culture. That's what they're all talking about.
I don't like using the terms that get thrown around because
I know you
there's
don't.
there's a stigma with the terms. When you use the terms that everybody keeps using, it's like 1984 newspeak. You know, it flavors it. It presents it with a certain bias automatically. You're hearing this term that makes you roll your eyes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
If you just speak about it in normal English language, you know, it adds some perspective to it. Like, I'm not going to say cancel culture. Is that what you called it?
Well,
Is
that's
that
what a
it's
lot of
being
people call
called?
it because that's what people are calling them because they're canceling people's careers and canceling people's lives because they said something. And I don't understand why certain people get
as you
a
can
pass.
See, it's 1%. It's 1% of the population.
I know.
Just about. That's
but they're the
causing
ones
this.
that have the biggest fucking voices. That's the problem.
They're just loud. They're just and loud's
Yeah.
not always right. Loud does not mean you're right.
But one of my questions is, with all this bullshit, I don't know if you know Shane. I can't think of his name. Shane Gill. I don't know what his name is. He was the guy that was just recently fired from Saturday Night Live before he even got to even step on the stage 1 minute.
No, no.
And he was cancel cultured. He was no, he was fired already. He just was fired a couple days ago because some podcast stuff came out with him making fun of Chinese people, and it was just regular. It was the same thing actually that Chappelle did on his show when he did the Chinese guy, and that he's getting so much flack for. And so it was just it was comedy. It was an act, and I think that people also think that podcasts. I'm a different person in my human life than I am right here, right now.
I admit that I put on a bit of a character when I get up here.
So
It's
I
not
mean,
all me. I mean,
yeah,
some of the opinions are mine, but it's not all me. I mean, I'm playing to the camera and to the microphone.
yeah, exactly,
to the
exactly.
viewers.
So, and that's the same things they're doing, and I don't understand it. But now, what I want to point out is, why do some people get a pass? And I mean no ill will towards this, because we discussed before that Eddie Murphy was my first real comedian. I loved him. I thought he was awesome. All the homophobic stuff that I don't like to say homophobic either, because that means that you're afraid of homosexuals, which is not a correct term. But all the stuff that he said in all his specials, how come he gets a pass? He's still able to make movies. He's still able to do stuff. He was just on Jerry Seinfeld's. You know, that's what I don't understand. I don't understand why certain people get passes on really, really. Man, I mean, you look at Raw. It's Raw, and it's one of the greatest comedy
It really
specials of
is.
all time.
It would never get made today.
Yeah,
It would
exactly.
never get
And
made
that's
today.
why I'm concerned, because he said on the Seinfeld thing, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, that he was going to go out. He wants to go out. And I'm thinking, is he going to be able to go out? I don't think he's going to do any of those jokes, of course. He'll do better jokes, and he'll, have them at least a little bit PC, but
Well,
why doesn't he get in trouble we can name other people that have said horrible things, and certain people get a pass, certain people don't. I don't get it.
let me put it this way. Sticks and Stones still got made. Paper Tiger still got made.
Yeah.
People want to hear people talking about this stuff.
Yeah, they do. They're
do.
just ashamed to admit it.
So that 1%, they may be loud, they may be causing some change, but they're not stopping it all.
Yes, you're right.
The
Exactly.
wheel is still going to roll because that wheel's way too goddamn big for just that small little group to stop from rolling.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
going
yeah.
to go down the hill. It's going to smash into the fucking village.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
It might even cause an avalanche because they're trying to hold it back too hard.
Yeah. I just don't trust. Like I said, I don't trust it at all. If you want to see a good movie about somebody it's called Life Itself. It's Roger Ebert's story. Right before he died, it takes place
check it out.
all the way through before he died. It's on my Vudu, and I think it's on Netflix.
I was going to ask, yeah.
It's really, really good, because you really learn how much him and Gene were actually like just real friends, real buddies, and the fact that they cared and loved about movies. The way he talks about movies is the way we talk about movies. I mean, it's a love. So he could have went into a Rambo film and seen that, okay, it's a Rambo film. I know what I'm going to get.
Yeah, you don't go in expecting My Dinner with Rambo.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what one of the guys I was watching said. It's like, it's Rambo. You know what you're going into. You know what's going to happen. I mean, not exactly, but you know that there's going to be lots of blood and guts. There's going to be, him being USA, hey, 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 because that's the way Rambo was.
The only reason I could justify a lower score is if it doesn't have that underlying sentiment to it that the original First Blood had.
I'm hearing it does.
There was a heart to that movie.
Yeah, there was.
And from all appearances, from the trailers that I've seen for this, there's a heart to this
Yes,
one too.
yes.
And as long as that's in place, as long as the essence of the character of John Rambo is in place, I don't think they can do any wrong. They can throw as much or as little violence in there as possible, as long as it adheres to what you expect from the character.
Yeah.
You're getting a Rambo movie.
Yep.
You're getting a Rambo movie.
I think it's, I don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah,
see, we're still new at this, one
that
of
was a PC issue. That wasn't the program. That wasn't our streaming.
PC, pop culture?
No. Yes, pop culture. Yes.
What was I going to say? I lost my mind now. As far as Rambo goes, I was going to say that a lot of people are walking into the theater, like these critics and stuff, and they don't understand what it is, and they don't understand, who this person is. Nobody ever points out the fact, all these people are saying, Trump, Rambo. I hate to tell you guys this, but John Rambo's not really into the government at all. He fucking hates them. Did you see First Blood? Did you see Rambo 2?
Well, I mean, that's the whole story behind the character. He
Yeah.
went over to Vietnam. He fought for his country. He came back, and he was hated.
Yeah, exactly.
Called a
Spit
baby
on.
killer,
Yep.
just like all those veterans were.
They were, they were. It was,
know?
I mean, it was directly from, and I think that's why that movie was so powerful, because around
it
that
came out at the
time,
right time, yeah.
around
It
that
was
time, it was like
timely.
when the Vietnam movies were coming out, when they were good, because the
was
first one's
timely,
like
yes.
Platoon, stuff like that.
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, he does what he does, and I don't know why anybody would expect anymore.
I don't get it.
But Bill Burr, I don't know if we can play YouTube videos or not. I'd love to show you.
I'd rather not risk it because we
Okay.
are live streaming right now.
Okay, if you get a chance, look up. I don't know what it is. It's a tribute to Bon Scott. Look up a tribute to Bon Scott with Bill Burr, and it's a show. And Bill Burr's a comedian. For anybody who doesn't know, very very.
Oh, he's hilarious.
Oh, he is. He's funny as hell. But I mean, you're talking, Dave Chappelle type stuff
even
again.
He's one
yeah.
of the ones. He's the one that was saying to Joe Rogan that he'll test out the jokes and wherever he's at, and just if it's not working, he'll stop and start on another thing.
Yeah.
And if that works, he'll keep going with it, and it doesn't matter how fucked up it is.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I listened to Bill Burr when he was on Opie and Anthony years ago, and I've been aware of him for a long time.
I forgot about that show.
And I found out, and Jim, Fred already knew this. Bill Burr's a drummer, and I didn't know that.
Yep.
So look for a video. It's
Self-taught.
tribute to Bon Scott with Bill Burr. Nikki Sixx is there. Scott Ian. So he's not like playing with chumps. He's playing with some
Right,
some
he
good
knows what he's
guys.
doing.
Yeah. And he's up there rocking out, and the song is really good. It's Kicked in the Teeth by AC/DC. And the guy, I don't know who the singer is, but he sounds just like Bon Scott, exactly like Bon Scott. It's amazing.
He's a pilot too.
Who is? Bill Burr?
Burr, yeah.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, he was talking all about on Joe Rogan. He was talking all about how during his training they put him in a simulator and they would shut off the windows and he would have to use his instruments. The instruments in front of you, the readouts in front of you, become your window, and how that's just the most claustrophobic, terrifying thing ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I know that. I've seen those simulators and stuff, and there's a lot of people there's a lot of celebrities who actually do that, who want to fly planes and end up doing it. And that's kind of surprising to me, but
Well,
whatever.
It's his
It's
money,
cool. I just like the fact that, I mean,
I'd probably do stupid shit if I had the money for it too. I'm trying
Yeah,
to buy
exactly.
a goddamn Spider-Man costume for fuck's sake.
and Bruce Dickinson, from Iron Maiden, he pilots their plane when they go on tour.
That's awesome.
That's freaking cool. And I guess in his spare time, he has piloted for like actual airlines before.
Damn.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Anyway, enough on the Rotten Tomatoes subject. I don't trust him anymore. I don't.
I've never really paid that much attention.
I have for certain things.
I had to have it explained to me almost kind of today on how it all works.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a general idea, but I never really pay attention to it because I disagree with it.
I did because
Even the audience score. I sometimes disagree with the audience score.
yeah, you're right. Yeah. I know that I personally, if I saw a movie that I had not heard of and I watched the trailer, I used to go and look at the Rotten Tomatoes score to see what it was at. Now that I know that it's critics completely, which I guess I didn't understand, that's how you get certified fresh. I have no faith in them whatsoever anymore.
Well,
None.
it's all personal taste anyway.
Yeah, it is.
It is. I mean, you could have 700,000 people tell you that they loved this fucking movie, and then you sit down and you just say, why?
Yeah, exactly.
Why did you like this fucking movie? There was a moment, somebody, I don't know if you remember back at Hollywood Video, towards the end of when I was there, they had this thing, my entire job on Friday nights was walking around with a goddamn clipboard, going up to people and saying, what kind of movie are you in the mood for tonight? And then they would say horror or comedy, and I would say, well, come over here and check this out. I had people that would come up and they would say, is this movie any good? And I would say, okay, good to you or good to me?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I personally love that fucking movie, but if I send you home with In the Mouth of Madness, you're going to come back and you're going to punch me. Because you seem like you want to go watch Coraline. You don't want to watch this.
Coraline. Yeah. In the Mouth of Madness. That's the Stephen King one, right?
Yes.
I just watched that recently. I've been on a Stephen King rage lately during, I think it was when It came out, the first It. They had a huge Stephen King sale on Vudu, so I bought up a bunch of the shit that I loved, like Silver Bullet, Cujo, some of those old 80s movies. But In the Mouth of Madness is one of my favorites. That one and Thinner. Thinner doesn't get enough credit, but it's really fucking funky and weird.
I've only seen it one time, but I do remember liking it when I watched it. It's
really strange. But yeah, I love Stephen King's movies. His adaptions are not his, but the adaptions they do of his books, most of them are pretty much on the money.
Except Kubrick. That was way better than the book, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Stephen King hated it, and I have to wonder if maybe that's why. Maybe he hated it because Kubrick took it and made something better out of it.
Now, nobody's talking about at all Dr. Sleep.
No. Nobody gives a goddamn.
Really? Seriously?
Well,
I mean, it looks pretty good. Have you seen the trailer?
The people that I talk to who know of its existence tell me that they're looking forward to it. But for the most part, if you go up to somebody and say Dr. Sleep, they're going to say, you might want to get that checked out.
But he wrote it, right? Yeah, it was a book that he wrote. And it was the sequel to The Shining. So, yeah, okay. So I'm not even sure about it because I don't read anymore. I'm stupid. But no, that one looks really good. But being on the topic of horror, and I wanted to talk to you about this because I'm going to try to talk you into watching American Horror Story. The new season of American Horror Story takes place in 1984. It's called 1984. Here's what's pissing me off. Anybody who watches American Horror Story knows that Ryan Murphy, the creator, is extremely clever. I know you didn't like the first season, but there's always
it had its moments, but it was just weird.
Yeah, the first season was really strange. It was out there, but then there's other seasons like Asylum is really good. The Freak Show one is really good.
I heard once Lady Gaga comes into it as an actor, the seasons start to get way.
I hated that.
Really?
Yeah, the Hotel was the one they did with her, and it was dumb. It was about vampires and all this weird. There is really a cool scene though.
I like vampires.
Okay, well then you probably like it. You really and Lady Gaga. It's not.
I've dug through your voodoo stuff. You don't have too much vampire crap.
No, I don't. I'm set to Bela Lugosi, and I liked Gary Oldman's portrayal, and that's about it.
No love for Anne Rice. No.
Lost Boys of Loved.
Near Dark wasn't on there.
Near Dark, I haven't seen. I've always wanted to see it, and I've never seen it yet. Yes, I know. Movie. That's what I heard. That's exactly what I heard. And I don't have a lot of vampire stuff on there. Twilight's on there. You can watch that anytime you want.
That's not vampire. That's Sparkly Fairies.
Oh God. Anyway, AHS 1984, and I want to make something apparent because I'm pissed off about this, and nobody's pointing this out. Okay. So it takes place so far. All the trailers we've seen and everything is pretty much Friday the 13th mixed with Sleepaway Camp, mixed with, whatever 80s genre campground film. What was the other one with the girl with the dick?
That was Sleepaway Camp.
That was Sleepaway Camp. Okay. All that kind of shit, and it's all portraying and paying homage to those things. Okay. It's very, very cool.
So it's okay. You threw me off with the 1984. I was expecting some Orwell shit.
No. It takes place in 1984, so it's full on 80s.
Okay.
Full on 80s.
Makes sense now.
And it's really good because it's set. But all the stuff that's going on in it is stuff that's been seen, or is a different take on everything from those 80s films. Here's the thing about Ryan Murphy, the guy who created it. No American Horror Story season has ever ended the way that it started. There's always some kind of major fucking twist, and nobody's talking about it. Everybody's so excited about this season. They're like, 1984, oh my God, this is going to be so cool. And everybody's raving. I'm the only one, I think, and I actually posted on YouTube for the first time ever. I'm the only one that I think that read the descriptions of the episodes. It only goes up to episode 5. There are virtually at least 10 episodes, maybe 13, maybe 12. But it only goes up to 5. And in the number 5 episode description, it says, "The survivors brace for the final brawl."
The survivors brace for the final
That's
brawl.
episode 5. And then it doesn't go any further.
And this is
It doesn't
a
give
typical
you...
season of television with 20-25 episodes.
Yeah,
between
it doesn't go any further
Not
than...
like-
It doesn't give you descriptions of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, none of that.
Fascinating.
At 5. So I guarantee these people that are so happy and up about it, about, oh my God, this is so 80s, so cool. And I keep trying to tell them, this is not it. This is not our story. This is not the season. Something very different is going to happen. And there's some really cool, actually, to tell you the honest God truth.
There's a lot of stuff they can pull from the 80s.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. And
I mean,
they've
it's
done a
not
good
just
job.
Slasher movies. Like when I was trying to get the wife to watch Hatchet.
Okay. I
and,
love Hatchet. I love all 3
I've
Hatchets.
seen the first 2
They're
now.
so funny.
I still need to watch, and it is hilarious.
It's fucking great.
She was calling it the poor man's Jason Voorhees, and I said, no. It's not the poor man's Jason Voorhees. It's we want to make another Friday the 13th movie with Kane Hodder, but they already said fuck you to Kane Hodder,
Yeah.
so let's do our own fucking thing.
And they put comedy in it, too.
And they put a lot of comedy
It's
in it.
hilarious. It's like Tucker and Dale versus whatever that was.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
fucking
that's a good movie.
too.
But yeah, I was never I never even knew about Hatchet, and then I accidentally saw it on late
I
night
watched it
TV
the
or
year
something.
that it came out. The
Did
first
you
one,
really?
yeah. And I hadn't seen it again until I noticed you had the entire trilogy and Victor Crowley.
Yep.
On your Vudu, I have not watched those.
I
last
just
2
finished
yet.
watching Victor Crowley a couple months ago. It's not too bad. It doesn't live up to the hype of the last ones, but it's good.
Strikes me as the whole thing that happened with Chucky. It kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah.
Because they called them Child's Play until a different studio got a hold
Yeah.
of the rights to the movie. Now they can't call it Child's Play anymore.
Exactly.
They have to call it. Which, by the way, that was fucking good too.
Did you like Child's Play?
I enjoyed the hell out of that. It was just as creepy as the original.
Yeah.
Probably even more so.
Yeah, I did like Mark Hamill's voice a lot. I liked
good.
I liked the kill factor. I mean, the difference of that. The only thing that I didn't like was the Chucky doll. Even when he's not evil, nobody would buy that doll. I'm sorry, but that doll
No.
was ugly as
It was
fuck.
ugly as shit, yes.
And the original Chucky doll was cute. Until he became a monster, he was kind of cute. He was a little buddy
I
doll
don't
or
know,
whatever.
It creeped me the fuck out. But then again, I knew it was coming.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly,
you go
exactly.
into it expecting a horror movie, so everything's fucking creepy until
But-
it jumps out at you.
Yeah, just I mean that was a minor thing too. But I mean, me and my daughter watched it because she had already seen it at the movie theater, and she wanted me to watch it with her, and we sat down to watch it. And I mean, right away I was like, nobody's gonna buy that fucking doll. But I did like everything they did with it. I liked how it was different. It wasn't somebody possessing the doll. I liked it how that was cool.
There was a missed opportunity in there, though.
What's that?
And I am going to get into some spoilers here if you haven't seen Child's Play. Just
Yeah.
minor spoilers here. At the end of the movie, they mention in the beginning, that he had to connect to the cloud.
Yeah,
Well, this doll was tampered with and
Yeah.
gains intelligence and keeps getting smarter.
yeah.
Their missed opportunity, they should have ended with him uploading to the cloud, and then all of the new
Yeah.
buddy dolls
Yeah,
all wake
yeah,
up and
yeah,
all their eyes
yeah,
turn red.
yeah.
That would have been the perfect ending to
Yeah,
that movie.
I already forgot. I mean, I had forgotten that he'd linked up to the cloud. That's funny. What was your favorite line in it?
There were, I don't know. I don't
My
remember.
favorite line was, this is for Tupac.
Ah, fuck.
When he stabbed the guy.
Oh, yeah.
That was fucking hilarious just to hear Mark Hamill say that. But yeah, it was pretty brutal too. But yeah, I did like Child's Play. There's a new one out now called Haunt, which I want to check out. That's going to be on my list soon, so you'll have to check that out because I think I'm going to purchase it. But it's supposed to be a really good scary movie. A lot of people are giving it. Your guy gave it thumbs up. Stuckman.
Oh,
He gave it a
yes.
thumbs up.
Okay.
And he said it was a movie that he never really heard of, but he loved it. And what was the other one? Oh, I was talking about AHS, but yeah, I would suggest you watch at least just the first episode, just to be enamored by how right they got everything. Because there's a lot of people that try to do 80s shit and slasher shit,
is.
and they really got it right. I mean, it's really cool, and the music in it.
I'll give it a shot, and I want to see some of the other seasons too. That some of them have caught my eye. I just didn't want to jump right in, and until I realized that each season is just kind of separated from the last season. It's all its own contained story.
Yeah.
Once I realized that, I realized I could just jump in at any season that I wanted to jump in on.
Yeah. Yeah.
The problem is time. And I was talking
Yeah,
about this
yeah.
earlier. There's not enough time in the goddamn week to watch all the crap that's on television.
Oh, yeah,
we
I
started
know.
talking about this before we started
Yeah.
recording. I mean, back in the day, remember when there was 13 channels?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everybody.
Yep.
You could
Oh,
go
yeah.
to work, you could go to school, you could say, "Hey, did you watch such and such?" And
Yep.
they'd say, "Yes, I watched." What the fuck else was I gonna watch? 'Cause
Yeah,
we've only
exactly.
got 13 channels.
Exactly.
And then you would connect on that. Now you go to fucking work, you're like, "Did you watch such and such?" You're like, "What streaming service is that on?"
Yeah, exactly.
And you tell them, and like, "Oh, I haven't paid for Hoodoo yet. I've got Voodoo, I've got Hulu, but I haven't gotten Hoodoo yet. So
Hoodoo.
I haven't seen that
Exactly.
TV show."
No, I agree completely. I
and
understand what you're
there's
saying.
hundreds of things out there
Yeah.
now. There's no way to keep up on it.
You have to pick and choose. Yeah.
Even if you picked and choose the genre,
Yeah.
you can't stay within
Yeah.
that genre and watch it all.
Yeah.
I had to stop watching all the CW superhero shows. I love the hell out of
There
them.
was, yeah, there was. It was getting pretty
But-
crazy. What they have? Supergirl, Arrow.
Well, they've got fucking 5 of them or 6 of them. I don't
Yeah.
know. They have Supergirl. It started with Arrow. Then it went on to the Flash.
And I never watched Arrow only because I wasn't interested in him. I watched parts of the Flash and I did dig
I
it.
watched it because he's essentially just Batman with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
We were obviously not going to get Batman, and
Yeah.
you can throw fucking Gotham at me all you want to, but I still say they blew their Batman wad before they had Batman.
I think
They just
I
got
love
too excited,
Gotham.
and they blew their
I
wad all over
love
the fucking
Gotham.
screen, and then the porn started. It's like,
I
well,
like the
goddamn it.
creativity of the fact that they couldn't use the names, but they still got the characters in there, and we all knew who they were.
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
a lot of people are offended. It didn't bother me. I'm just gonna say, a lot of people were offended about Penguin being a homosexual. I know a lot of people are
didn't
bothered by that.
know that, and I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he was in love with Riddler.
They can do what they want to do.
Yeah,
That's-
exactly. I mean, that doesn't bother me, but I know a lot of people are
Because
pissed
that's
by
not
that.
the
But
big issue. That's not the big.
Yeah, it's not,
They
no.
fucked up their narrative before they even had a main character. You know.
you think so? Really?
I think they did. I mean, you could
See,
argue that
because-
Jim Gordon is the main character,
Yeah.
but if that was the case, they should have kept it the way that it was originally supposed to be. There's I forget what it's called. I think it's called GCPD, Gotham Police, whatever.
Yeah.
There was a comic series based just
Okay.
on the GCPD.
okay.
Had nothing to do with the supervillain shit or
Yeah.
the superhero shit. It
Yeah.
was just the Gotham Police dealing with crime in Gotham City, and it was an amazing fucking comic book
Yeah,
series.
yeah,
That was the original concept for Gotham, but nobody was fucking watching.
yeah, yeah.
So they said, okay, fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Get your Batman dick out and squirt shit out. Because that's the only way anybody's going to watch. But that's why I liked Arrow, because it was essentially Batman, and I didn't think we were going to get a proper Batman on TV.
Yeah, well, you're not going to, and you're not going to get a proper Batgirl either.
It led into The Flash. And The
Yeah.
Flash was fucking amazing, and I would still watch that show if it wasn't so completely linked to all the other shows.
Yeah.
Because then Supergirl started up on CBS. That was a completely different company
Yep.
until it got bought, I believe, by CW.
Yeah.
And there was one,
Kevin Smith was
Legends
involved
of
in that one
Tomorrow.
too, right?
He's directed more than one.
Yeah.
To the point where, I don't know, if we can't really play the clip on here, but there's a clip online, if you can find it, of Melissa Benoist, and I believe that is how she pronounces the name, Melissa Benoist, who plays Supergirl on the show of the same title.
Yeah.
She plays Chronic in the reboot of Blunt Man and Chronic, titled Blunt
Oh
Man.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Blunt
yeah,
Man v.
yeah,
Chronic.
yeah. Oh my God.
There's a clip of her in that, and it was fucking hilarious. I can't wait for that movie.
Kevin Smith is putting out, just a aside real quick, Kevin Smith is putting out a shit ton of material on YouTube. I don't know if you've realized that or not.
I've
I
been
just-
following him on there for a while, and on all the other platforms, social media,
Yeah.
Instagram, Twitter. I follow him on there.
I don't know how he talks so goddamn much, but he has like 90 podcasts and he has like 100
he's
different
fucking- He
things.
can just talk forever. He got up at Comic-Con, and he was doing a panel, I believe, for Blunt Man and Chronic, and he had his daughter come out,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and he had Jason Mewes come out, and he had Melissa Benoist come out, and
Yeah.
they literally just sat there for an hour and a half and laughed,
Yeah.
because he didn't shut up long enough for
Yeah.
anybody to say anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I saw him.
In fact, I think part of the laughing was because they couldn't say anything.
Yeah, exactly. I know when first of all, I was going to tell you, leading into that, was there's a Tusk making of
Oh,
Tusk
yes,
on
yes.
YouTube. It's like an hour and a half long or something, but it's
almost as
really
long as
good.
The fucking movie. I
It's
was gonna
really
watch
good.
That a couple nights ago.
Yeah. But I saw Kevin Smith in Akron speak before he was really, really big.
Nice.
It was probably around the time of I'm going to say probably not Chasing Amy, but a little bit after that.
How many questions did he get through?
He had a line of people. I was going to go down, but I was in the balcony. But he had a line of people immediately. You know, they line up immediately to ask him questions.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about that I will expose here, and this came from Kevin Smith. It did not come from me. But he had just written a book. I can't remember which book it was, but I read it. And in the book, he talks about going to a party, a Hollywood party, and how some people know secrets about other Hollywood people, and you're not supposed to speak about them. But of course, Kevin Smith never keeps his mouth shut.
Oh no, not even when he was at Prince's place.
Yeah. And I still remember it was a huge crowd, and he was answering questions, and he had said in his book that there was a guy in Hollywood who was a huge action hero at this time, which was 90s, huge action hero who was flamingly gay. And he described the action hero as, he kind of described him as, this macho guy, blah, 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 blah.
I want to guess, but go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I want you to guess.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No. Close.
I get that from him. Steven Seagal?
So, no, wait.
No?
So
Okay.
he said that he was very gay, and somebody, he said, "I'll tell you," and then he goes, no, I won't, or something like that. And then somebody yells out from the audience, because you got to read it in the book, because the way you read it in the book, and I can't remember, you know who it is.
Okay.
So somebody in the audience shouts out, "Vin Diesel!"
Oh my God.
And he just he dropped the mic.
I've heard that.
And he just turned around and didn't say anything. He didn't want to say anything, and he was just like, "Okay, next question." And wow. I still remember him saying that, and I was like, holy. Now, I've never heard since about that rumor, but he's not married. He's not. I don't know.
I've heard that rumor independently of me.
Have you?
So
yeah.
There might be some truth to it.
I mean, and as we're saying, there's nothing wrong with that. I just thought it was interesting to get that.
Personally, I just want to meet the guy so I can play Dungeons and Dragons with him. Apparently,
why does he play Dungeons? Oh, Kevin or
no,
Vin Diesel? Really?
Apparently, he's a really good fucking player.
Seriously?
He runs. I think it's called D&Diesel on YouTube.
Wow. No, I mean, it's not. I'm not against that or anything. I mean, that's cool. But I mean, it's just weird to see it coming from him.
Why would you be against D&D?
No, I wouldn't. I was just saying, I'm not trying to cut you down or anything, because I know you're into it.
I'm just fucking with
yeah, I just never would have expected him to be in D&D.
Right. Well,
I know.
Huge fan.
Holy shit, Jason Mewes is like, his YouTube page is like,
it's all Fortnite. Isn't
yeah.
It? Yep.
He's like Fortnite streaming all the time.
And it's like he can afford to play better games than Fortnite.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
he doesn't
of.
have to pick the free crappy one.
Which everybody's going back to for some reason. But anyway, whatever.
I've seen stuff from it. I almost started playing that game when Thanos was like the big villain involved. And it's different. They keep changing everything in the game around. And I guess it's free. You can't really bitch. But when I buy a game, I want that game to stay that game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If I buy a game where everybody teams up to fight Thanos, then I want to be able to put that game in 6-7 months down the road and fight Thanos again.
Yep.
I don't want to buy Spider-Man for PS4 and then eventually wind up fighting Lex Luthor.
Oh, now you ruined it for me. I haven't finished the game yet.
What? Oh, no.
I'm just kidding.
I think.
No. What games have you been playing lately? Or have you been playing any lately? Or
honestly, I don't know. They put a new update out for No Man's Sky, and I tried playing that for a while. Honestly, I don't really have time to play games anymore.
You're more so into the fantasy games and stuff like that, right?
Some fantasy, some sci-fi. I like the Spider-Man game. I started playing that again.
I loved it. I haven't finished it because
to get through the thing.
I got into Far Cry 5, and when I got into Far Cry 5, it was the end of it. I solved that, and then I went out and bought New Dawn, which is like the expansion for it. And I already solved that. So I'm just kind of doing expeditions and shit now. But anyway, yeah.
Are you opposed to having a guest right now?
No, I'm not. No, she can come in if she wants.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can you hold the fort for just a second?
Yes, I sure can.
All right, I'll be right back.
All righty. All right, so Fred's going to go get his wife, who has showed up, and we are going to talk for a bit more. Where are we at? Oh, yeah, we got plenty of time. Can you get it? There you go. That's our door, if you heard that. It's very hard to open. So as far as what I was saying with the Rambo thing, I think we're going to talk about that just for a second, because I know nobody likes to talk about it but me usually. But the Rambo thing, I'm really looking forward to seeing this movie. I'm really looking forward to it blowing the box office up, and showing some of these people what what an action movie should be, what it, however it has to be. It's kind of weird. This is the first time I've ever done this by myself, so it's kind of strange talking. I don't know really what I've just done here to the computer, so Fred's going to have to fix that. Nope, there's our Rambo back up again. All right, so we got Rambo back up again. Let's see what else we have here. We're watching George Harrison. No. I'd like to go to YouTube and see if I can find something. But anyway, as far as the Dave Chappelle Sticks and Stones, which I have up now, that's a 35%, as we said, 99%. That audience score blows me away, that 99%, because, I mean, that is a lot of voices that are not being heard. The voices that are being heard are the critics' voices. And I don't think that's, at this point in time, I don't really think that that's a thing where you're going to be able to, you know, judge that on, as far as the critic scores versus the audience score. It's a, you know, I don't know. It's just weird. But anyhow, Fred is back now, and
yes, I am back.
Would you like to introduce our guests?
I would like to introduce my wife, who is now going to sit down and talk with us for a minute.
Okay. And I was just going over the Dave Chappelle thing again and how much it pisses me off that these fucking tomato meter. Fuck Rotten Tomatoes. I'm so tired of it. I'm not even kidding.
That is
Fuck
still up
them
on the screen, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I put it up because I was going into. People are tired of hearing me talk about Rambo, so I went back to the Dave Chappelle Sticks and Stones thing to see what exactly. How many does it say for the audience score? How many have watched it or reviewed it?
17 on the critics, 37,045 people,
and 17 on critics.
Yes.
Fuck them. Fuck Rotten Tomatoes.
So 17
Stupid.
critics
Dumb.
kind of didn't like it, but 37,000 people enjoyed the fuck out of it.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make any sense. Rotten Tomatoes sucks. I hate it. I can't stand it. It's dumb.
And this is my wife, Nicole.
Hello.
Oh, wait, here.
Here, yeah, you can pull the microphone up and adjust the thingamabob. And
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone.
You can get a little closer if you want. Okay, so what were we talking about now?
I forget. You were
We
talking
went
about
through all
video
this.
games.
Oh, yeah, and I think we're pretty much done with that because,
well, I mentioned
I don't
you're
play
asking
enough
what
to-
I play, and I just don't have the time to play anymore.
yeah.
When I was working in food service, I was literally getting home at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and I would play until dawn. I would just put a game in and
Yeah,
play
yeah.
until dawn.
Oh, you used
and
to,
then
when
I'd
we
go
were at
to
Hollywood
bed.
Video, you always took games home.
Oh.
Always.
Well, you see, at Hollywood Video, we had this thing where we could have 3 free rentals at a time.
Yep.
And one of those rentals could be a game system. So I would take a Nintendo 64 and 2 games home.
Yep.
That was
Yep.
that was my thing, and I did that for months.
Oh, yeah, I
For
remember.
months, I played Star Wars Rogue Squadron. I played the Legend of Zelda games. Ocarina of Time was my favorite. That was the.
I was never a big Legend of Zelda fan. I miss the old Star Wars games, though.
All right.
From like, what was it, PS1 and all that kind of shit.
Pod Racer.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
one was fun. Oh wait,
So,
that
Nicole,
wasn't PS1.
Yes.
What do you have to talk about today? What would you like to talk about?
Well, I don't know. What were we previously discussing?
Well, we got into Rambo. We got into the whole Dave Chappelle thing and how everybody's all pissed off about it and trying to police laughter, which never, ever, ever works.
And how Rotten Tomatoes is just worthless
Yes.
because they don't give. I mean, as you can see here, we were talking about like with Dave Chappelle's thing, 35% score on the, and then 99%.
So the tomato meter, from what I understand, I had to have this explained to me today. The tomato meter, from what I understand, is the critics score. Those are the critics that have watched it and given it a review. And the audience score is just your average everyday Joe getting on here and saying whether they liked it or not. 99% of the people, of 37,045 people that got on here
Yep.
enjoyed Sticks and Stones.
It's hard not to. I mean, Dave Chappelle is relevant no matter, if he was
Yep.
back in the 90s, back, early 2000s, and even now. I mean, people love him no matter, what it is you believe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I it just pisses me off because, like I was telling Fred, I mean, if there's a movie I see a trailer of that I don't know anything about, I'll go by the Rotten Tomatoes score. I'll say, okay, I'll check it out because Rotten Tomatoes, I had no clue, and I just explained this to Fred because I just learned it, that certified fresh means it's the critic score, not the audience score.
And see, I didn't know that either.
And that's a hunk of bullshit because half these critics did not want to see Dave Chappelle or Rambo. And we all, I mean, it's obvious. We can see the score. So yeah, we were just basically talking about how Rotten Tomatoes is just a bunch of shit.
It's like I was saying earlier. There's a 1% of the population that
Yeah.
actually has a very, very, very loud vocal
Yep.
opposition to this sort of thing, and I think the critics are feeding that.
Oh yeah, yeah, they
The
are.
critics
They
are feeding that to just keep us separated,
Yeah,
keep us fighting.
they are.
If you keep everybody fighting, they don't see the horse shit going on behind the curtain.
Yeah,
you know?
but I just don't understand why you would even go see. I mean, okay, you're paid for it or whatever. It's just, I mean, for somebody to go into, like, let's say, I don't know. I'm trying to think of, like, I don't know, my kid. That would be like having my kid, my 17-year-old daughter, go to see Rambo and tell me what she thinks of it. She's not going to understand it. She's never seen a Rambo film. She's never seen. So, I mean, that's what you're doing with these critics. You're taking people who are probably in their 20s who weren't around for the first Rambos.
I don't know. There's probably a lot of older guys out there, too.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Have no understanding of film. They're like I said, they were just writers.
Yeah.
They couldn't make it.
Yeah, exactly. So
they said, fuck it, I'll just watch movies and pick them apart because people seem to like that.
Oh, it's ridiculous. So do you watch American Horror Story?
I tried to, but I really couldn't get into it. It's not because I didn't want to, but I don't know if it was just
the first season, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think so.
The first season sucks.
Right,
and I don't know if it was because, of the writing or, what it was. But I mean, I couldn't get into it. I wanted to, but
yeah, the first season's horrible. It's abysmal.
But he's suggesting, what was it, 1984?
The new one,
current
1984.
I've seen that. It's like a slasher film, isn't
oh
it?
yeah, it's really good.
Nice.
The first season was really good. There's another good season. A lot of people didn't like, but it's. You ever heard of the Roanoke story?
I have heard of the Roanoke
story.
Okay, yes.
There's a whole season about Roanoke that's really cool.
Supernatural, didn't they?
Yeah.
I don't remember. It's been so long since we've actually sat down and watched that one too.
That's true. A lot of people know about the Roanoke thing, but I always wanted to get in, more involved in it and see exactly what, because it's always a mysterious story. And they did a season on that, and that was pretty cool. And then the season that was supposed to knock President Trump, didn't really. It wasn't very good at it, but it was a good season.
That's how you sell something.
But now wait.
That's how you sell something.
This is what was cool, and
you appeal to
and
sensibilities.
The hotel one has an amazing scene that you have to see.
Okay.
Because I'll try to just give a little backstory. The hotel's pretty much possessed and it's locked out from everybody else. And there's all these old people that died there that live there. Okay. And there's one guy who lives there, Evan Peters character, who's like an old 1930s guys. He talks in that, fast lingo and stuff that they used to do in the 30s.
So
hey, what are you doing now?
So basically every other actor in the original Bela Lugosi Dracula except for Bela Lugosi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to check my phone.
yeah, exactly. But there is a great scene in it where every Halloween he gets together with former serial killers and has a dinner. And so you get to see John Wayne Gacy. You get to see Richard Ramirez. You get to see...
What would the kitchen look like?
The Zodiac. Like I don't know. It was just a hotel.
I don't know. I mean, throw Jeffrey Dahmer in there and you got a party. So
yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer's in there.
Oh.
Okay.
And the Zodiac Killer, who comes in fully equipped. It's funny because he comes in, with his Zodiac hat on or whatever the hell it is. And
this image in my head of the camera panning over, and there's a waiter standing over Jeffrey Dahmer saying, because it's human head soup, sir.
But John Wayne Gacy just looks at the Zodiac guy and he just says, I never understand why you just didn't want to be known. Well, and I thought that was just kind of a dark, wry kind of humor.
I may actually watch some of these other seasons.
And then the season with Evan Peters where he's the star, he also plays Charles Manson because it's about cults. It's called Cult.
Okay.
He plays Charles Manson. He plays Koresh. He plays, and he plays somebody else, and I can't remember who it is.
Who are we to say that David Koresh wasn't Jesus?
I mean, nobody's to say that. Who are we to say?
That's how we would treat him if he came back.
Seriously, it is. And who are we to say that, the guy on the street talking to himself doesn't really know something?
And
I mean, I've always said that.
Who's to say Vermin Supreme wouldn't make a great president?
Hey, you know what? I'm still waiting on my pony, all right?
Okay. Well, we'll get on that. We'll email him. I'm sure he's got an email address. So everybody does.
Oh, they're giving all kinds of shit out. But anyway... that is an interesting question, though. It really is, because I've often thought that myself. What if this person? Because in the movies, everybody gets kind of weirded out by him, but then they start believing the person or whatever. But we just shove him to the side and don't give a shit.
Yep.
And like you said,
guy claims he's Jesus. Go blow his shit up, man.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's exactly. I mean,
burn the place down.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, because we get so irritated by somebody saying that they're something that they're not, and or we don't think they are, but.
Right.
Yeah, whatever.
I think a a lot of it too boils down to like people's personal perspectives. I mean, we live in such a time and a culture right now to where we feel that, you know, what we see and what we believe, no matter whether it's on like social media or the news or, you know, like hearsay, word of mouth, you know, yada, yada, yada. Everybody's so, you know, fixed on what it is I believe. This is what I believe.
Yep.
This is, you know,
Yep.
this is how it is.
And it can't be any different.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
you're right. You're
and
right.
so many people don't want to actually take the time to listen to each other because they're so fixed on, you know, this is me, this is it, this is how it's going to be. And I don't think that's fair.
And it's so negative now, too.
It is.
Yep.
People are so
Everything's
extremely polarized on one end or the other. You could be talking about, you know, pizza or politics, and people are going to nitpick it and say what they want to within it.
Yep.
I mean,
you're right.
you could have anybody at any given time tell you to go to hell on the internet just because you fucking like pineapple on your pizza.
Exactly. Yep.
You know?
You're right. Everybody's
It's become fashionable.
I mean,
to
that's why
hate.
this was called. That's why this Chappelle thing was called Sticks and Stones. It's
exactly
like
the point.
I mean, that was the whole point. I mean, names don't hurt.
That's
They
the
don't
whole-
fucking hurt. Just stop bitching.
He even talks about the people that eventually went after him after the special.
Yeah.
He describes the situation exactly as it happens.
Yeah, I know. The whole thing is it's comedic genius. It really is.
It really is.
This is where Richard Pryor was in the 70s and early 80s.
Yep.
This is exactly him.
Well, you know what they say, the wheel never stops turning, so I hope that that end of the wheel comes back up to the top again sometime soon.
God, I hope so. I really hope that we just don't have to. I mean, it seems like every time I get on the internet or get on YouTube, somebody has. I mean, it's kind of funny because it's like I hop on, click on the channel, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, what's on YouTube today? Who's pissed now? Or like when I get because I have TMZ on my phone. I don't know why, because I'm a celebrity hound. I don't know. And every time TMZ comes up,
Well, you
the
gotta
only time
keep
I
up
get
with the
the only time what was it? There was do you guys watch Preacher?
We watched
We
the first few
started
episodes.
to, yeah, and I
It was-
loved it when I saw of it. I thought it was
Oh
great.
God, it's the last
didn't have
season and
cable
it's
at the
getting
time, though.
really fucked up. You've got to watch it.
I
At the
want to
time that we
continue
were
with that
watching
one.
it, I very much agreement on that. But at the time we didn't have cable. We still don't have cable. I don't want cable. Because
Yeah,
fuck cable.
I can't blame you.
So we didn't have easy access to
Yeah,
it. You know,
yeah.
we had to watch it through not necessarily legal methods.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I kind of stopped that because it was a pain in the ass to do it that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
And I was waiting for Netflix, and then by the time I'd hit Netflix, I'd just forgotten about
I
it.
think it's on Hulu now, isn't it?
Is
The-
it?
I think it might
so.
be the first 2 seasons might be on Hulu. I
Okay.
don't know, but you've got to see it because now it's like I said, it's the last season and it's getting really out there.
I'll
And
check it
some of
out.
the stuff there's a lot of stuff in it that they get away with that I can't believe. That's very gory and very
You
and
can do way more on television now than you used to be able
Oh,
to.
yeah.
You can do way more.
I don't think any of the SJW or the Christian people are watching it because I'm gonna be real quiet here.
I don't know.
It really shits on God a lot.
A lot of things do.
No, God's in it, and
Oh, I
God gets
guarantee you.
really shit on.
I guarantee you there's about 6 or 7 people from that, what was it, the church, whatever it is, the guys that were protesting dog mafia.
Oh yeah. But Westboro
Yeah,
Baptist.
I guarantee there's a group of about 20 of those guys standing somewhere with signs about this fucking show. Okay?
Oh, I'm sure. Well,
and they've been standing there since it started.
Yeah.
They're not going to move.
No, it's very fascinating. The reason I brought it up was because there was a line, and now I've completely forgot about the line, but there was a line about God that was really funny, and it's gotten to the point now where God has gone astray from the world, and now Jesse the preacher is who I really like. This guy, I've never seen him in anything before. This is the first time I saw him, but
Yes,
the
you
guy
have.
who plays
What else was
Jesse
he
is
in?
awesome.
Dominic Cooper?
Yeah.
He was he was an Iron Man. He was
Was he?
Stark. Yeah. He was
Yes,
one of
Howard
Tony Stark's.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
Howard
okay,
Howard Stark,
okay,
yes.
okay,
Yep.
okay. Yeah, this is the first
I
time
knew
that
it
I
was
saw
obvious.
him.
I knew it was obvious.
Yeah, and I love him. The Australian guy. I don't know his name, but he's the vampire
Yep. Oh,
that
yeah.
lives forever. He literally.
He's awesome.
There's a scene. Let me just put it this way. They take him hostage, and because they discover that he's a vampire and he can come back from anything, they circumcise him over and over and over every day.
Ow.
This guy just keeps circumcising him.
It's like the
And-
Greek Legend of Sisyphus.
and
where the
he's
fucking
like-
vultures.
He's like this
No,
mafia
that
mob
was,
guy,
Sisyphus was the boulder guy, wasn't it?
boulder guy.
Yeah, the one that had to push the boulder up the mountain, and then right before it got to the top, it would fall back down.
Oh
and push
yeah,
it
yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Who the
Yeah.
fuck am I? I'm thinking of Prometheus. He brought fire to the people and was strapped to the mountain and had his
Yeah.
innards eaten by vultures every day.
Yeah.
So
you've got to see the what they call who they call the All Father, who's the guy that's in control of everything. You don't know whether he's working for God or whether he's working. You kind of don't know, but he's obsessed with his beauty at the beginning of the season, and he just gets worse and worse and worse because so many things happen to him. He gets something in his head. He's bald. He gets something in his head that makes this big line on his head, a scar, so he looks like a penis. And he's really annoyed by that. Then he loses his ear.
Second your question on how they're getting away with showing a lot of this.
Oh, wait. Then he loses his ear, and to replace his ear, they use a piece of the foreskin from the vampire guy, so he's got this hangy foreskin thing on his ear. Last episode, he lost his leg. He just keeps getting worse and worse, and it's funny because he thinks he's so great, and he's so worried about his beauty. It's an exceptional show, especially for a comic book show on TV.
Oh yeah, and
it's amazing.
Bits and pieces. I read like the first few issues of the actual comic itself,
Did you?
And it matches up pretty well in tone.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And the guy, who doesn't like a guy called Arseface? I mean, that has
his story was really
butthole.
fucked up. How
Yeah.
he became to be.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I remember my wife walking in, and she's like, "What the hell is that?" And I go, "Oh, that's Arseface. He has a face like a butthole." But yeah, it is really good. I would highly suggest getting into it. I mean, because of the fact that it's the final season, and you can make your way through it. But it's good.
I've waited this long. I might just wait till it hits Netflix and binge the
Yeah,
whole damn thing.
yeah.
That's
But
kind of what I'm doing with Walking Dead too. I'm just waiting until it's done. And I'll watch the whole fucking thing.
I had to stop. As
don't
soon
like
as Rick died,
torturing
I stopped.
myself. I don't think he died.
You don't think he did?
I don't think Rick's dead. I think they're going to bring Andrew Lincoln back for some Walking Dead movies now.
Oh, okay. Well, I just got tired of every episode being killing zombies.
I like that aspect.
I
what
do,
hated
but
was
how many?
depressing the show was.
Yeah, it's bleak. I mean,
It's like Game of Thrones in that regard. It's like after about 3 seasons, I started thinking to myself, you know what? I should probably stop banging my head against this brick wall because when you do that, it hurts.
Yeah. It's
Took me 3
bleak.
seasons
It's
to get
definitely
there.
bleak. That's the way it was with Oz. I remember Oz. I don't know if you ever saw that. That was an old show from the 90s.
We started watching that together. I
That's
had already
bleak.
seen it.
Yeah.
That was back before I even had my own Netflix thing. My friend Matt in Los Angeles used to, I think he was in BG at the time, actually, or he was living in Ohio at the time. But he had me set up on his thing, my address on his thing. He would send me like a disc of his 3 that he could get through Netflix because there was no streaming at the time.
Yeah.
So he would send me and I would make requests every now and then, and I had him send me the entire first season of that show. That's an amazingly fucked up show.
Yeah, I remember I watched the entire seasons or all the seasons, and it was very bleak. That's the only one that I can remember that was really, to me, got me really down, and I was like, why am I watching this?
The thing that I found to be fascinating, like within that first season, is just like watching the progression of Tobias Beecher. He goes from like this alcoholic lawyer, gets in that car accident, and then he's terrified. And then after a while, I mean, you really see him change. I mean, he's all kinds of
You know who he kind of reminded me of towards the end of his arc in that first season? He kind of reminded me of Renfield, actually. From
He reminded me of me.
Story.
Yes.
You know?
He reminded me of me, and I think
Really?
that's why, because that's the way I would be in prison. I guarantee it. I'd get fucked. I'd get fucking.
I am not prison
hit,
material, no.
Beat. No, I'm not at all.
No.
And it's funny you bring that character up because that was one of the defining characters for me, where I was like, man, he's just getting worse and worse, and it's horrible, and it was just alcohol. I mean, it's bad. It's bleak.
That was my first introduction to J.K. Simmons, too. And
Oh yeah,
He
God.
was so good in that show.
Yes, he was. He's
damn
good in
good.
everything.
He really
Jeez.
is.
What did I just see him in that was really good? What's that for?
Spoilers.
Okay.
yes, there's
Oh, what did I just see? I just watched him in something. I can't remember what that he was really good in. But yeah, I don't know where he came from because he was doing Oz, and then he kind of like went away for a while, and then he came back, and now he's like
and then
really
he was,
good again.
He was J. Jonah Jameson
Yep.
in the
Yep.
Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy.
And of course, let's not forget his most amazing film. I think is Whiplash.
I have not seen it.
You've got to see Whiplash.
Is that
He's
on one of
fucking
the-
amazing.
Is that on one of the services?
It's on Vudu. It's about a drummer,
Voodoo?
and he plays the most.
Not Hoodoo?
No, not Hoodoo. No Voodoo. He plays the most heinous professor of music you will ever see in your life. He actually is a monster, but it's got such a great story of this kid just not quitting drumming ever, no matter what happens to him. And the end is one of the most emotional, like stand up in your seat, fuck you things. I mean, it's great. It's called Whiplash, and it's great.
Check it out.
I think he won it. No, he didn't win an Oscar, but I think the film won an Oscar for something. But yeah, J.K. Simmons, I've liked for quite some time, but I definitely remember that's always
He's
been
an
my
incredible
first.
actor. And like I said, that was my first introduction to him. He was
Yeah,
such a jackass.
the
in that
Nazi.
show.
Yeah,
He
the
was
Nazi
such a
in
jackass.
Oz. Yeah,
He got what was coming to him, though.
yeah, he did most definitely.
Very much so.
Most definitely. There was another show I was going to talk about, and I can't even remember what the fuck it was now. What about you, Nicole? What do you got?
As far as what, like TV shows go and stuff like
Whatever.
As far as pop culture,
Pop
Okay,
culture in
alright.
general.
speak your truth.
that? Okay.
You have a microphone.
Yes, the one thing that I do have to talk about here, whenever Brett had mentioned about Preacher, speaking of other, Seth Rogen related TV shows, The Boys. Have you seen that one at all?
No, but he recommended it, and I'm going to
it's
watch it.
so
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
good. Oh my gosh.
That's what I've heard. I want to watch it. I'm going to definitely watch it. Yes.
It's like it reminded me of the old Earth 3 stuff in DC Comics with Ultraman and Owlman.
And the thing that was so
the
funny
fucked up
too,
Justice
I remember
League, they were all
Owlman,
evil.
yeah.
it jogged my
all
memory
evil.
because like as soon as I sat down here and we all started talking about stuff, it reminded me of like when on the last episode with Tarantino talking about like evil Superman with Brightburn and stuff like that. Oh yeah, Homelander. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that's what I do
much
want to
it,
watch it because he had recommended it, and
No
I've seen the
spoilers.
previews a couple of times, and I
No
do want to
spoilers.
watch it. Yeah.
I kind of hate binge culture for that, actually. I
Yeah,
really
it
do.
kinda
I
sucks.
hate it because you kind of have to. I used to work with a guy, and if you're listening right now, hi, Shane. I used to work with a guy that I actually had to hurry and watch the things that I was interested in because I knew goddamn good and well that I was
Yeah.
going to show up to work and he was going to say, "Did you see this part where this happened?" He's not the kind of guy. He wasn't the kind of guy that could say. He couldn't say, "Where did you leave off?"
Yeah, exactly.
He had to say, "Did you
Spoilers.
see the part where this happened and then that happened and then this guy was a dick and then that guy was a dick and then it all ended with this?"
Yeah.
No, I didn't. But thank you because now I don't have to.
Speaking of superhero movies, though, or villain movies, whatever, Joker.
yes.
I've I've meddled around a bit, and I think we might be a lot closer. I don't know if either one of you have seen The King of Comedy, which is one of my favorite De Niro
No,
movies.
that was actually, there's a huge element of the Joker, of Joker that's based on
I'm
that
thinking
movie.
it's a lot more like that than what we think. I've heard a couple of different people discuss it, and if you look at the trailer, could it possibly be that that's not him in the trailer? That he is, what's happening around him is not really happening? Because like a couple of people pointed out, there's a couple of key items in the trailer, like the one where he goes into the woman he's obviously in love with, and he just goes into her room and he kisses her or whatever.
Yeah.
Does that seem like something that character would do?
Well,
does
you
it
need to read
s-
The Killing Joke.
I've read it. I own it. Yeah, of
Because-
course I
oh,
do, dude.
well, okay.
Dude, of course I do.
Dude, okay, yeah. Sorry. I apologize.
And that's
My bad,
no,
my
it's
bad.
yeah, no, it's
But
one of my
there-
favorites.
It seemed that character, and they never named him in it.
Yeah.
He was a completely different person until
Yeah.
he snapped. He
Well,
really was.
what they're saying is what a lot of people saying is that when you look at the trailer, there's a lot of scenes that you could misconstrue as fantasy. Like
Okay.
some of this, we don't know how much of this stuff is going on in his head,
Right.
or how much. So a lot of people, or not a lot of people, myself and the other guy that I was watching, talk about the fact that a lot of the stuff we're seeing could be fantasy.
It could be.
Stuff
I thought
he's
you were gonna go in a
imagining
completely
around
different
him.
direction with that
No.
question.
I'm saying I think it's going to be a good movie, but I think it's going to be more about a disturbed, mentally ill person than it is going to be about the Joker or a villain, or a superhero type thing.
That is the Joker, though.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I
think
know,
That's why
yeah.
they're doing it this way.
Yeah.
They put together a very independent movie, a
Yeah.
very, very independent movie.
But when I heard
It's not a blockbuster. It's not a superhero. It's not a supervillain. It's,
yeah.
It's a character piece. It's a psychological thriller.
It's
I
a
think.
Scorsese film, is what it looks like.
Essentially, yeah.
And I mean, Scorsese's never done that, so I mean,
But
obviously,
when you said King of Comedy and you brought it up in relation to Joker, I thought you were going to go in a completely different direction.
what direction do you think I was
I
going to go?
thought you were going to speculate that maybe this is just a complete rehash of that movie.
Oh, no. I'm thinking that if you watch The King of Comedy, it doesn't differentiate between what's real and what's not.
Okay,
If you
I need
like,
to see that movie. I've
when
never
he's
seen that movie.
when Robert De Niro has his fantasies, they just go into his fantasies, so you don't know whether it's really happening or not. And then all of a sudden, like there'll be
in
a
that case,
scene.
if what you're saying is right, it might be a complete rehash.
Yeah.
Because I noticed something. I don't mean to change this.
No.
I noticed. I watched The Devil's Rejects again the other night.
Okay, oh God, I don't know how you can.
It's The Empire Strikes Back.
Why is that? What?
The Devil's Rejects is The Empire Strikes Back.
Why?
The characters of Luke, Han, and Leia, not necessarily exactly as them.
okay.
Those are the Devil's Rejects.
Okay.
The movie starts with them in their house. They get raided by the Empire. Okay.
Okay.
The cops come in and they bust everybody, and they have to take off on their own. They're
Okay.
separated for a little while too.
Okay.
Until they come together, and then they seek refuge with the black dude that runs the whorehouse.
Yeah.
Lando,
Oh my God.
who eventually turns them in, and then eventually gets them out of it. The only difference is the ending. Of course, back when it first came out, we thought they all died. That's why it was different. But then again, for a long time, I thought Han Solo was dead. I talked about that once.
Yeah. I can't do.
So if there are not Ewoks, Rob Zombie, if you're listening, if there are not Ewoks in 3 from Hell, I'll be disappointed.
3 from Hell is the new one coming out, right?
Yes, it's already. People have seen it, and I'm disappointed that one of them wasn't me.
Man, it's too disturbing. I can't. I
Yeah?
can't do his films. I loved Halloween. No matter what people say, I loved his version of Halloween. I liked his version of Halloween 2. I think he's a very good filmmaker. But I'm too. My mental capacity is too disturbed to watch, or not disturbed, but it's too disturbing for me to watch. I can't see innocent girls get raped. I can't see. I don't like it. It disturbs me. It bothers me.
That's fair enough.
So I've never watched it.
But if you ever do watch it, if you ever do watch The Devil's Rejects, just pay attention to the story beats. It's the fucking Empire Strikes Back.
I even thought you were drawing at straws at that. Whenever we were sitting there watching that and you said that, I'm like, where are you getting this? How high are you?
At its most basic level, that movie in story is The Empire Strikes Back. And the fucked up people are the protagonists. The cop is the Vader character.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I'm saying about King of Comedy. I really think that this is not a ripoff at all, but I think that the central blueprint was taken from that. Because, like I said, I mean, you would see Robert De Niro plays the character where he wants to be a talk show host,
Right,
in King of Comedy. So he...
I know the gist of the movie, I just haven't seen it.
Yeah. He has all these fantasy sequences. He even, in his basement, he has a set that he plays on. And then, of course, it was tape recording time back there in 70 whatever, or 81 or whatever was made.
Right.
So he plays stuff he does interviews on his tape recorder, and like you'll be sitting 1 minute, it'll be him and Jerry Lewis, who plays the main character, the talk show host he's obsessed with. It'll be them sitting chatting at like a famous Hollywood place, and they're just chatting, having fun, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden you hear out of the background, you hear, I can't remember his name, but you hear his mom yelling at him, and then then it goes to Robert De Niro's basement, just real quick, and he's like, "Mom, I'm doing something." So like, there's no clear of what's fantasy and what's real.
We need to get a copy of this movie.
That's interesting.
It can't be too expensive.
I own it. It's on Vudu.
Yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Oh, okay.
And that's what I'm thinking about the Joker. I'm thinking that a lot of
might
this
not
stuff
be
we're
wrong. You might be
seeing
right.
is in his mind.
You might be right. Then again, it is completely disconnected from the
Yeah,
rest
it
of the
is.
DC universe. So
And I don't have a problem
they
with it.
can do whatever
Is it
they
even,
want.
Do they even have a DC thing before it or not? Is it just...
I guarantee they will. Cause it is
okay,
still
I
a
want to make
DC
sure.
character.
Yeah, it is. I
It
just
is still-
wasn't sure.
DC has this whole thing going on right now that I'm surprised Marvel hasn't dipped its toes into. They like to keep their television and movie stuff separate, and now it's looking like they're even keeping some of their television stuff separate from the other television stuff, and some of the movie stuff separate from the other movie stuff. They have this whole multiverse thing going on because that was a big thing in the 80s. They had that Crisis on Infinite Earths. And that was where they had like 3 different versions of Superman come in. One was the 1930s Superman, one was the Silver Age guy, and the other one was the modern age Superman.
Yeah.
They all come together to rescue the multiverse because it's being eaten alive. And I think that's what they're trying to do with this whole thing. They're trying to set up all of this so that there's a multiverse and they can make everybody understand what that means. That way,
Yeah.
they can have Batman on screen and Batman on TV, or
Yep.
The Flash. The Flash is a good example.
Yeah.
Because they've got Grant Gustin playing him in the Justice League movie and all that stuff, and they've got, or I'm sorry, on not on the movies. That was
Ezra
Grant
Miller.
Gustin is the guy on TV.
Yeah,
He's
Ezra
doing-
Miller's the one in the cinematic.
Thank you. And
Okay.
yes, and two different Flashes, both the same character, both Barry Allen.
Yeah.
So if they can set it up in people's minds that there's a multiverse, because that was their big hang up for a long time. That was the reason why they didn't want to put Batman, the character of Batman, on Smallville, because at the time they had Christopher Nolan's Batman movies going on, and they didn't want to confuse people
Yeah.
with two different Batman
Yeah.
characters. They don't care about that now. There's like 7 different movies in production that all feature the fucking Joker, and some of them have not Heath Ledger. Some of them have Jared Leto. They've got the Joaquin Phoenix one that's completely separate from everything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a new Birds of Prey movie
Which I'm
coming
not
out.
too sure about, man. What I've seen of that, it looks really, I don't know. The first trailer thing, just with them dancing around or whatever,
haven't
her
actually
dancing
seen
around,
it.
it looks so fucking cheap. I'm like, did they do this on like
You
a
want
video
cheap?
camera?
You want cheap? Go watch the late '90s Birds of Prey TV show.
No, if I want cheap, I'll watch Justice League. From what year was that? The TV one?
You're talking about the one that didn't even have Superman. Where it looked like they were wearing Guar
Yeah,
costumes.
yeah.
Yes.
What?
That
Yeah.
might have even been 70s for crying out loud. I don't know.
No, I think that was actually early till mid '80s.
Was
I
it?
might be wrong.
God,
I
it's
might be
horrible.
wrong.
It's awful. It's
It
horrible.
never aired. It never aired.
No, and yeah, you only get it like bootleg and
Right.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
never
really
actually
bad.
got released. It was just made so that company could hold on to the rights to the movie.
And there's
Classic.
nothing in like there was no location scouting.
No.
It like takes place just on average streets
On the
and
streets,
stuff. There's
just-
nothing
City streets.
like
They
just
probably didn't
downtown
even have
Lima or
extras. It's just
something.
they're
It's-
passing a
yeah,
fucking homeless
yeah,
guy
It
in the
was
street.
weird.
And it's an actual homeless guy, and he's really drunk.
Yeah, it was definitely weird. It's probably like the Batman guy that we talked about that used to be in Lima.
Right?
It's about like that. But anyway, as far as the Joker's concerned, what I was going to say is now that it's gone to that edge, and I mean, the more I've seen of it, I don't know, man. It might be. A lot of people are saying it's really going to be disturbing. That it's
hope.
really going to be really
I hope.
down.
I really do. Every time I see an on-screen version of the Joker, a new iteration of the character, I hope that it moves further and further away from the campy Adam West series.
Yeah.
You know,
But I thought
George
you liked
Romero-
that, though.
Or not George Romero, Caesar Romero.
I thought you liked.
I did like that.
I
for
love
what
Caesar
it was.
Romero.
For what that show was, I enjoyed the hell out of it. But the Joker evolved so much in the comics. And I want
I-
to see him get closer to that homicidal maniac that he
See,
actually
and I
is.
think we were kind of starting to see that a little bit with Christopher Nolan's, you
Mm-hmm.
know, Batman.
With Heath
Yep.
Ledger, yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
and
Yep.
I think honestly, you know, to date, I haven't seen, you know, obviously, you know, the new Joker movie hasn't come out, but
Mm-hmm.
I think to date, that's probably my favorite iteration of the Joker
Yeah.
was
And I-
Heath Ledger.
Yeah, and I didn't like Jared Leto's version. I mean, it was.
I did.
It was
I
like
did.
what if Sid, what was his name?
Sid Vicious?
Yes, what if Sid Vicious fell in
Oh,
some
fucking
acid?
perfect! I think that's even better.
I thought he was too stylized with the.
I mean, great
Yeah,
concept.
he was very stylized. I
Right.
mean, the gold and all that kind of stuff. But I would think that that's what, if the Joker was living in that society or whatever, that's what he would be like. I really like Jared Leto, and I'm really disappointed because I know there was a shit ton of stuff left on the cutting room floor with him. And I really would like to see it because he even said that there's got to be stuff on the cutting room floor because he did tons of shit for that movie.
You know what I want to see?
What?
I want to see Mark Hamill and God damn it, I'm gonna kick myself for not remembering this fucking name. Batman. Animated series.
Christopher Nolan.
Not Christopher.
Christian Bale?
Christian Bale.
No. The animated series.
Michael Keaton.
No.
The animated
Kevin
series.
Conroy.
Oh yeah,
Kevin
Kevin Conroy.
Conroy.
Yeah, he's good.
I want to see him play an elderly Bruce Wayne, and Mark Hamill play an elderly Joker in live action
That would be cool.
with a Batman Beyond story.
That would be cool.
Because
that would be
Batman
awesome.
Beyond was one of the very underrated cartoons, and I don't
It's
think
so
you've seen it.
You know, it's so funny though. I mean, just talking about this, I just remembered something that I was listening to this morning. I was listening to the 90s on 9 on Sirius, and every week they have a back in the day replay, and this week's was 1992, and they actually made mention that Batman the animated series
Yes.
had premiered that year, and I was like, oh, look at that.
is Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. Whenever I read the comics, those are the voices I hear.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Those are. I mean, I don't hear Christian Bale. You don't want to hear Christian Bale. The guy
Why
sounds
you
like
trying to kill me?
he gargles with broken glass in preparation every day.
I still like that because it added to the fact that people wouldn't know who he was.
I like the voice modulator for that, though. It just sounds like he's asking for throat cancer. You know?
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, the throat modulator was pretty cool. I mean, when they used that, but didn't they use that in the what did they use that in?
That was in the New Justice League. That was in Batman v Superman.
Yeah, but
that
no,
was the Ben Affleck version.
No, but I saw something else where they used it.
Was it?
Maybe it was a comic or something. It might have been a comic.
Because I know that they've got the kid that was playing Bruce Wayne in a half-assed Batman costume right now. They're trying.
Well,
they're trying to get their Batman dick up now.
It's done and over now.
Is it?
It was Gotham though, dude. It was only supposed to go up to the point of when Batman became Batman. That's all it was supposed to do.
Which means you shouldn't have any of those villains because Batman is responsible for the creation of all those villains.
True.
Jim Gordon said it himself in The Dark Knight. He said escalation. You know, we wear body armor, they buy armor-piercing rounds. You put on a fucking bat costume, these guys get nuts. Well, those guys got nuts before Batman put on the Batman costume in this.
Yeah. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Exactly.
I'm going to fight with you about Gotham because here's what Gotham meant to me. I'll encapsulate it just in one thing. I never understood. And I know that it's Gotham's made-up story, but I never understood, even reading the comics, which I did, why Batman was so, friendly and so trusting of Jim Gordon. And why he went to Jim Gordon for certain things, and why I'm like, okay, why is he not going to anybody else? Why is he? Well, seeing Gotham, I know why, because Jim Gordon is a fucking badass.
Well, there's different iterations of the character in the story too.
True, there is.
For instance, in Chris Nolan's, Jim Gordon was the cop responsible for taking care of Bruce after his parents were killed.
Yeah.
So there was a soft spot there, and
But
Bruce
did that happen in
his,
the comics?
That did not happen in the comics.
See?
It was Leslie Tompkins actually. She's in Gotham as well.
Yeah.
And I love Marina Baccarin.
Yeah.
But she wasn't that same character in the
No,
comics.
no.
An elderly woman that ran a homeless shelter and took care of Bruce.
Yeah, but I like I said, I just think that it gave Jim Gordon a lot more, and I really liked the guy who played Jim Gordon. I can't even think of his name, but I really liked him. Ben something, yeah.
Ben McKenzie.
Ben McKenzie. He's actually he's married to Marina Baccarin now, I think, right?
Is he?
So, yeah.
Are they together?
Oh,
I know
yeah.
They have a kid. I know they're having a kid together.
Yeah, that's right. I did hear something about them getting together or whatever.
I know you heard something because Jim was calling her a whore for an
yes,
entire podcast.
I know, for an entire podcast. I'm not sure why. Why was that?
Speaking of which,
I don't know.
The bastard never called. Happy
Yeah, he
birthday,
never did.
because you will be listening to this, so happy birthday. I didn't even realize it was going to be your birthday soon.
Yeah, they were about done anyway. They got to go grocery shopping. I got to edit this damn thing, and we're still on live. Nobody chatted with us. So next time, please, if you're listening to this podcast, get on YouTube and chat with us. We have one viewer, which I think is me.
All right, and I think next time I will make sure that my phone is charged so that the screen doesn't dim. That way I can see it, and I can actually get on there and share the link to the live stream before we even get going. And I want to make a habit of that, actually. I want to make a habit of starting the live stream like 15 or so minutes before we actually start recording the podcast.
Just talking and shit?
Yeah,
That's
just
fine.
talking and shit. That way we can get people in, like spread the word for a little bit, get them in and start doing that.
Oh, completely.
And there's another thing that I wanted to work on. It's just an idea. If it doesn't pan out, then that's fine. But I watch the Screen Junkies movie fights all the time, and I'd like to try that.
I don't think I've seen I've seen them advertise or not on my YouTube thing or whatever.
Watch a few
I'll have to check
of
it
the
out.
older ones. The newer ones, I don't think you would like the newer ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like too much or
it
not?
Gets into that area where you start whispering into the microphone just so that people don't get offended. Okay.
Oh, I don't give two.
I'm just saying. It's
I
way
don't
too,
want.
It's very, very woke.
I'm going to be really honest with everybody right now. I will be as offensive as I fucking can. I don't care. I just don't want to bring anybody else into it. That's why I whisper.
If
I'm saying something and I'm whispering it,
I don't care.
Yeah, if I'm saying something, then it doesn't mean that Nicole, Jim, Fred, anybody agrees with me. I'm saying it for me.
I'm just saying, get into the older movie fights.
Okay.
I'll send you a couple of links to my favorites because whenever I used to do my little craft shit and I like painting shit and building little castle things at night, it takes hours to do that. So I just pop on some headphones and listen to some movie fights. As now Joe Rogan's podcast has taken the place of that, but back then that's what I used to listen to.
I'll have to check it out.
These guys are good. What they'll do is they'll put a topic out there like just say Batman v Superman, just Batman the character versus Superman the character, and they would fight over the merits of whichever one. Like somebody would pick one and somebody would pick another. Or maybe they'd say your favorite 80s teen movie, and you'd have to pick one and argue against everybody else for why yours is the best.
Yeah.
And one person would be a judge.
Well, see, this goes along with my idea that I had that Jim said I was completely nuts and completely crazy about, which was I think that we should put together a super team of movie characters. Did he tell you this already?
That could be a topic.
And
you know what you could do?
We could have like a branch like they do for, football and NBA and all that shit where you have all these people and then I'm talking about like,
saying.
Iron Man, Rambo, Schwarzenegger from one of his really Commando.
So basically those fucked up foreign superhero action figure packs where you got Batman and Shrek and one of the Power Rangers
and Rambo spelled with an N or something.
Rambo, yeah.
Yeah. No, but really like they do with the statistics and all that shit, and then we just kind of each week meddle it down to like who's the big like I don't know, 12-person team.
See, I like that.
Movie shit.
But that could work in one of those movie fights. That topic, because what they would do, they would take something like that, like what you just said, perfect team of whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And each person would pick their team and then argue the fucking merits of that team.
Oh, see,
and then somebody would sit by and listen to these arguments and judge. And I'll send you some links to some of these.
I'll check it out.
It's a really fun concept.
I'll check it out.
They'll have like rounds and shit and like it. Yeah, I'll send you some links.
All right.
Because we got to get going. So.
Yeah, we do. And it was a pleasure having Nicole today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'd love to do it more often.
I would love to have you on.
I want to have you in for a music episode. I think you'll really shine during
that. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You and you guys share the medal.
Yeah.
I'll be the one lost in the conversation.
I mean, honestly, I like everything, like, as far as music goes, I like everything from, like, Frank Sinatra to Dr. Dre to Slayer. I mean, it's all
that's
there.
the way I am. Yep, that's exactly the way I am.
That's why I've been trying to get her in here, because I know that you guys will just back and forth with the music.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we hope everybody had a good time. We hope you enjoyed our live stream. Check it out again next week. We will live stream every episode as far as we know. And we had a lot of fun, and... what the hell's that? That's got to be somebody's ringtone. What
Take
is
your
that?
Pills.
That's my pill alarm. I said it.
I was like, I thought you were serious. I was like, what's happening? I thought something was happening weird.
No, it's like I said, I set the alarm tone for the pills to the Pink Floyd song that played in Doctor Strange when he crashed. A correlation, Dr. Pills. And just made sense to me, I guess.
All right. Everybody have a good week. We will see you next week. And Fred has to take his pill.
Take your pills.
Yeah.
Have
so
fun.
Everybody have a good one.
Later.
Around us, and we like to obsessively gab, laugh, and sometimes argue about all and anything in the entertainment world. One certified nerd, one anti-nerd in hiding, and one psychotically passionate mental case come together to bring you the culture of pop.
That was supposed to be the outro. Sorry.
That's okay. That's fine. We got both.
We've had a hell of a day today.
Have fun, everybody.